Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 71 of On the Diamond and Into the Deep. As always, I am your host, Mahal, and today we're going to be talking about a huge weekend series for the Seattle Mariners as they swept the San Diego Padres in 3 games. We will then continue on to preview a 3-game series with the Chicago White Sox tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And it should be a pretty nice little series win, hopefully, for the Mariners. You never know what they're going to give you, but they should win this series. So we can hope. We'll see what happens. But yeah. Tomorrow we will be having a little special episode with TJ Mathewson of the Marine Layer podcast. So make sure you stay tuned and listen to that episode. We just recorded that. And then next week, it sounds like we will have Lyle Goldstein of the Marine Layer podcast early next week. But for now, let's get into today's episode. To begin, what a dominant statement series for the Seattle Mariners coming off of a brutal 1-5 homestand in which they were outplayed by the Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Yankees, like pretty handily. Now the Mariners in this series in San Diego, they came into Petco Park, they meant business, and you know what they did? They took what they wanted, they dominated, and they shoved it up their throat. The Padres were 16-5 at home prior to the series against the Seattle Mariners. And the Mariners came in. They win Game 1, 5-1. Game 2, 4-1. Game 3, 6-1. They give up 3 runs total over the 3 games, and they score 15. They outscored the Padres 15-3 in this series. Just a dominant showing all around the field. Just the lineup, the bullpen, the rotation, everything dominated, and it was the type of statement series this Mariners team needed as they came off of a really, again, tough homestand against the New York Yankees and the Toronto Blue Jays. Game 1 against the Padres, the Mariners roughed up Stephen Kolek. We talked about him last week, but they roughed him up. They forced him out after 5 innings. He gave up 8 hits, 5 runs on 4 Ks. The Mariners won the game 5-1. Logan Evans with a massive start. And he's been looking really solid. And that's been important to the Mariners. They need that to continue. They need it for success. So to see that happen is massive. It is great. He went 6 innings, gave up 7 hits, 0 runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. There were a lot of runners on base for Evans. He put runners on in terms of hits and stuff like that, but he battled to leave them on the base paths or get them out in double plays. He didn't give up a single run again. In terms of the offense, J.P. Crawford, Cal Raleigh, both with homers. That is a massive path to success for the Seattle Mariners baseball team. Rowdy Tellez also homered. That has been good to see. He's been a very good player, actually, as of late. They still kind of need a right-handed hitting first baseman, as I'll talk about on tomorrow's episode with TJ Mathewson. But a massive day for Rowdy Tellez, a massive season so far from Rowdy Tellez. And J.P. Crawford and Cal Raleigh continue their success, and you need those guys to stay hot. You need it to win. This is your path to success. Also, last thing on Game 1, the frickin' bullpen was dominant. Carlos Vargas, Casey Legumina, Colin Snyder went 3 innings combined, 1 hit, 1 run, no walks, 6 Ks. Legumina has been an absolute dog for the Seattle Mariners. 14 2/3 innings so far this year, 83.3 left on base percentage, 1.84 ERA, 2 holds, 3 earned runs, and a home run. He is very much so limited hard hit. He's in the 88th percentile. The only concern with him is that he's walking guys in the 8th percentile. 33. Wow. 13.3%. 33 would be kind of crazy. But if he can cut that walk percentage, you're going to see him even tick up probably. And that was really awesome to see because everything else from him looks great. Game 2, Emerson Hancock on the bump against Nick Pivetta. We talked about Pivetta. You got to stay off the sweeper, and you got to hit the fastball. Did the Mariners necessarily do that? But Pivetta only went 6 innings, gave up 2 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 7 Ks. The Mariners did their job, though. They then got to the bullpen, and they had the game close. And that is hugely due to Emerson Hancock as well as the bullpen. But Hancock, well, his length has been really good recently. His length wasn't necessarily there, but his stuff was nasty. He was up to 98, probably the best stuff we've seen from him. He went 4 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 3 Ks, and then the bullpen comes in clutch. Gabe Spire comes in for Munoz in the 5th. He gets the out there. He then throws another inning, and then he's followed by Brash, Legumina again, and then Munoz. And the pen that night combined for 4 1/3 innings, gave up just 2 hits, no walks, 5 Ks. They blanked the Padres. Massive stuff from the bullpen. Again, Nick Pivetta, good start. 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 7 Ks. But the Mariners got to the bullpen. The pen for the Padres, they needed to use 5 guys to get through 3 innings. They give up 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, and just 4 Ks. Cal Raleigh, another homer. Rowdy Tellez, another homer. And a great night for Cal Raleigh is overall. The go-ahead homer in the 7th as well as 2 walks. Rowdy Tellez, like I said, he hit a homer. He tied the game up in the 5th, and Dylan Moore added on with 2 RBIs. This is the Mariners that you want to see. This is how they need to win. You're going to be in close games a lot because of how the Mariners are. That's just, you got to accept that. You're going to be in close games. What you have to do is get your bullpen working, your starter working, and you need to add on to your lead. And if they can add on to their lead like they did in this game when they added 2 runs in the top of the 9th for Munoz, you're going to see success from this ball club, and you're going to see this ball club win some freaking games and hopefully make it to October, because that is the goal, and that can definitely happen. Game 3. Mariners have already won the series. They're heading on with Brian Wu on the bump facing Michael King, another very good starter. Michael King makes it through 5 1/3 innings, gives up 4 runs, 3 of which earned on 6 hits, 1 walk with just 8 strikeouts. Randy Arozarena with a big-time home run solo shot in the 4th to tie it up, and then the Mariners added 2 more that inning. The Mariners had production up and down the lineup in this game. They didn't need anything, actually. They didn't need a win in this game, but they came out. Brian Wu shoved for 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, no walks, 5 Ks, and the lineup was working. 8 hits, 6 runs, 5 walks for the lineup. RBIs from Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, Randy Arozarena, Mitch Garver, Leody Taveras, Miles Mastroboni. Big time. The Padres bullpen worked again. They needed 4 guys to get through 3 2/3 innings. 2 runs, 2 hits, 3 walks, 4 Ks for their bullpen. The Mariners bullpen, on the other hand, dominant again. Carlos Vargas and Bazardo combined for 2 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 0 Ks. The story of this series was dominant pitching from the Mariners, and then them hitting homers, having your guys show up and adding on to leads, and keeping the Padres' big 3 quiet. I think the 2 biggest things there are the bullpen and adding on to leads. And if those things can continue, you're going to see this team continue to find success. On the Padres' big 3, Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr. They were combined 4 for 34 during the series with just 3 walks. They struck out 11 times with just 1 RBI, and that was a leadoff bomb by Fernando Tatis Jr. on Sunday. Again, the Mariners outscored the Padres 15-3. It was a dominant showing from the Seattle Mariners, and one that was good and needed to be seen. Starting tonight, the Mariners head to Chicago to face the White Sox. The White Sox are 14-33 on the season, 9-12 at home. And they're just not a very good ball club in terms of offensive stats and just in general. In terms of offensive stats, they are 28th in home runs, 28th in runs, 11th in walk percentage, 5th worst in K percentage. That would be 25th. Last in average, 27th in on base, last in slugging, 28th in WRC plus, 29th in FWAR, 27th in doubles. Last, that would be 30th in hits, 29th in ISO, 30th in OPS. Not a good offensive team. In terms of their bullpen, it doesn't get much prettier. They're 4th in innings. They are 19th in Ks per 9, 25th in walks per 9, 27th in home runs per 9, 21st in ERA, 27th in FIP, 27th in WAR, 21st in WHIP, 16th in opponent average. There are a lot of things in the high 20s between those 2 things. This team has not been very good. They are not a very good team, and the Mariners need to win this series. And I expect it to happen. Anything else is a failure and should really be talked about. And unfortunately, I don't want to talk about it. But if it happens, we'll have to. But it really better not happen. Tonight, the Mariners face Davis Martin on the mound. Luis Castillo's on the mound for the Mariners. Martin has a 3.65 ERA, a 5.97 xERA, 4.24 FIP, 4.31 xFIP. His career 4.32 ERA, 4.27 FIP. He's been overperforming pretty significantly this year. This guy you have the potential to hit this guy, and I think the Mariners will be able to. The only thing he's been able to do is limit walk percentage, but he's the bottom 25% in xERA, x batting average, average exit velocity, whiff, strikeouts, barrel percentage, hard hit percentage. He's in the second percentile on expected batting average at 321. Martin has a 6-pitch mix, 29% four-seam, 24% changeup, 22% cutter, 15% slider, 7% sinker, and a 2% curve. The four-seam, the changeup, and the cutter, those are all going to be moving somewhat similar. Or they're not going to be moving similar. They're going to be moving very different, but they're going to come out of the hand looking like a fastball. Those are thrown 75% of the time combined. It's going to be a lot of those. They're going to look like fastball out of the hand. Like I said, the change is going to dive down and in towards right-handed hitters. Well, the cutter is going to move the opposite direction. It's going to move glove side from the fastball, and the fastball's a little bit straight. Not a whole lot of ride on that fastball. However, a tiny bit more than like an average fastball, but not a whole lot. Changeup is a little bit more vertical than average changeups, if that makes sense. It's going to be a little bit less droppy, but it's going to have more significant arm side. The cutter is more vertical than most cutters. The slider has a ton of glove side run. So you're going to see those all come into play. The fastball averages 93.5 miles an hour, the changeup 90, the cutter 89. The cutter, again, going to dive glove side in towards lefties, but a little bit more vert than run. The four-seam fastball has given up 0 home runs, a 191 average against, 267 expected batting average, 340 slug, 450 x slug, 50% hard hit, 20% whiff. This pitch has been hit very hard, but there haven't been results. I expect results to happen. Whether that is going to be tonight and it's going to be the Mariners starting to get those results remains to be seen. But I expect results to happen whether or not that is tonight. Hopefully, for the Mariners case, though, it is tonight. The changeup has been hit around a little bit, 267 average, but it has been expected to be hit even worse. 349 expected average, 383 slug, 483 x slug, 56% hard hit, and just 19% whiff. The cutter has been hit the least out of these 3 pitches, but still expected numbers. 195 average, 255 expected batting average, 293 slug, 487 x slug, 36% hard hit, 21% whiff. The slider has been getting whiff, and it might be the put away pitch. The problem is when he has missed with it, it has been hit a crap ton, pardon my French. 409 average against, 818 slug against. This pitch has been hit very hard. So I'm excited to see what the Mariners can do with it. Not sure they're going to do a whole lot with it, but if you can stay off of it and not whiff at that, then all of a sudden, you're golden. Game 2, Bryce Wilson. Mariners have not announced really Game 2 or Game 3. One of those might be George Kirby. They might bump guys up. It's hard to tell. It might be a spot start for a Jonathan Diaz type of thing. Logan Evans is supposed to start Wednesday, but that has not been officially announced. Bryce Wilson, though, like I said on Tuesday, this guy has struggled. There's not really any other way to put it. He started as a reliever this year, and then he was transitioned to a starter. Since he was transitioned to a starter at the beginning of May, in those 3 starts, 15 innings, 22 hits, 12 runs, 4 homers, 5 walks, 8 Ks. He struggled mightily his last time out. 5 1/3 innings, 10 hits, 7 runs, all of which were earned. 1 walk, 3 Ks. That was in Cincinnati. He struggled to get ground balls, and he struggled to get them during that start pretty severely, which is why he got roughed up a little bit. On the season, he has an ERA of 6, an expected ERA of nearly 8. a 6.45 FIP, a 5.28 xFIP. He has struggled to get Ks. He's in the third percentile, 5.18 Ks per nine, 12.4%. That would be the third percentile. Has not gotten much whiff at all either. Fourth percentile for that, 17%. He is in the first percentile in xERA and expected batting average. He has just not been very good. He throws 5 pitches, 26% sinker, 25% cutter, 19% changeup, 18% curveball, 12% four seam. Sinker, changeup going to have similar movement profiles as well as the cutter. The cutter's gonna have a different movement profile. They're all gonna look like a fastball out of the hand. We talked about this multiple times. They're all gonna look like a fastball. They're going to break different ways. The sinker and the changeup have very similar movement profiles. However, there is a 6 mile an hour difference between the two pitches, so that is where the difference is going to lie. The cutter's going to play off both of these. Like I said, it's going to look like a fastball out of the hand, but it is going to break the opposite direction. It's going to break glove side, whereas the other two will break arm side. So in towards right-handed hitters for the sinker and the changeup, and away with the cutter. Cutter's averaging 88 miles an hour, has less break overall than average cutters, and it's been freaking torched. 441 average against, 436 expected batting average against, 706 slug, 760 X slug. The sinker also has been hit, not to that same extent, but it has been hit. 282 batting average against, 322 expected average, 410 slug, 477 X slug, and just under 10% whiff. This guy is hittable. The Mariners should hit him. I expect them to hit him. Anything else, really, like I've said about the series and a series win, anything else is really kind of a disappointment. So I really hope they hit him. Game 3. Finishing up here. Shane Smith, Logan Evans. Probably Logan Evans. Smith was selected in the Rule 5 draft with the first overall pick last December, and he's been very, very good, actually. This is going to be a difficult matchup for the Mariners. 2.05 ERA, 3.43 xERA. 3.15 FIP, 4.05 xFIP. He's been limiting homers at a very, very good rate. Just 0.37 home runs per 9 this year. The only thing he hasn't really done is gotten chase. Everything else he's been really good at, though. He's in the 8th percentile in chase. He's in the 81st in barrel percentage, 77th in whiff at 29.5%. He's limited barrels, hard hits, exit velocities, all those things, all that jazz. He has a 5-pitch mix, 43% four seam, 22% changeup, 19% slider, 8% curveball, 7% sinker. You're going to see a lot of changeups during the series, as all 3 of them throw changeups. But again, he's going to throw changeup, and like we've said, changeup, fastball, they're going to look the same out of the hand. One of them's going to break, one of them is not. In terms of those 2 pitches, this is going to be his duo, really. 194 fastball, 194 average against the fastball, 231 expected batting average, 264 slug, 363 X slug, just 2 doubles, 1 home run against it with a 29% whiff. The changeup has been his best pitch, though. 122 average, 232 expected batting average, 171 slug, 317 X slug, just 2 extra base hits against that pitch, with both of them coming as doubles and a 34% whiff. The thing here is he doesn't throw a whole lot of innings. He's only had 3 quality starts this season. If you can work ABs, get him out of the game early, you're going to get into the pen, an area where you can take advantage, and there you go and win this game. This is a very winnable series overall for the Mariners, like we have said. Hopefully they can go out and do it, and we can get another little streak here of series wins. Not necessarily is it going to be 9, 10, whatever, but even just a short one. Throw some series wins together in a row, and let's see what we can do as you head into Houston at the end of this week. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been episode 71 of On the Diamond and Into the Deep. We will be back tomorrow, like I said, with TJ Matthewson of the Marine Layer podcast joining us. But till then, thank you guys so much for listening. Follow me at Diamond on Deep on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. As always, go Mariners.